What's going on, Raiders? Sly here with a new round of guides to help you guys get through the hard raid. Now, first things first, is the hard raid actually hard? Well, yes and no. With normal mode, it starts off easy and then culminates super hard with Axis. After doing Axis for a month, a team that has played together and knows the mechanics well will end up thinking Axis is pretty easy nowadays. With that said though, the normal raid goes from super easy to hard. This time around though, it goes from hard to easy, with Axis being the easy part. So if Axis is hard for you, then you're not going to think this raid is easy. However, this guide will be the first of 4 that I will make to help you guys on your journey through the hard raid, and of course, we're going to start out with one of the surprisingly harder bosses this time around, Vosik, the Archpriest. Now, if you're new to the raid altogether, check out my Vosik raid guide right here. This explains normal mode in and out. You need to know the mechanics of this boss in order to move on from there, so check that out if you're new to it altogether. Also, remember guys, this is early on in the hard raid, and it is an early strategy. There will more than likely be way more improvements made in terms of strat, so here in like the few coming weeks, expect something a little more cleaner. But right now, this is how I beat it multiple times. So it does work, and if a better strat becomes available, I will definitely let you guys know. Alright, so Vosik, when you start the raid, your entrance exam hasn't changed at all. You still slam 4 of the power-ups into any circle. You still throw the Siva charges at Vosik to damage his shields, and it looks like he hasn't changed all that much. You can easily down him in 2 to 3 cycles. The only thing to watch out for is the leveled up Super Shanks and the enemies, as they now are 380 light. For this part, Outbreak Prime still seems to be the way to go. I tried all the raid weapons, and the best combo is Outbreak Prime, the raid sniper if you have it, and then a good LMG, but also 1000 Yard Stare works just as well. I pretty much used Outbreak Prime the whole time, as well as my favorite scout, and it did absolutely amazing. So after you get him to immune, nothing changes, kill him, grab your loot, head to the secret chest, and then head on into the TV room. Now as you drop in, immediately you're going to notice a couple changes. First off, the doors are half shut. No big deal here, all you need to do is slide underneath them, no change there. The only real differences are that all the ads are now 390 light, and instead of just 3 Siva charges, 1 dropping on each side, 2 drop on each side for a total of 6. Honestly, that is probably the worst part of this entire thing. It's also one of the harder parts of the raid. It's a tie between this and the siege machine. So I'm going to tell you guys all the options that you can try and also how I did it myself. So first up, you can still choose to designate 3 throwers, and they throw all 6, 2 on each side. However, the charges now disappear in half the time that you normally would have had in normal mode, so you can no longer just take your time when everyone has them and throw them. Once you have them pick up, you have a very limited amount of time to throw it. But it's not like it needs to be thrown instantly, but you're definitely going to notice that as soon as you pick it up, it puffs up pretty soon after grabbing it. So if you do the 3-man method, the throwers will need to be spot on and you will need to be quick. The first Siva charge starts the damage and does the least amount of damage overall, but as long as the Siva charge keeps hitting him within 2 to 3 seconds of one another, then you're going to get him down in 3 turns. If there is too long of a pause in between throws, it's not going to do enough damage to lower his shields in time. So if you do choose the route where only 3 people throw it, you need to make it so that when the 3rd ball is thrown, the 4th one has already been picked up and ready to throw again. It is complicated, but it's easier to coordinate 3 people than 6. The second way is for all 6 to try to throw it at once. This is the best way to do consistent damage, but it is also the riskiest. Having all 6 players unable to shoot because your hands are tied up while ads are spawning leads to a lot of deaths, and the sides are the worst because you get shot at from the middle and also from your side. Now it can be done, and that's how we beat him the first time, but you need to use a lot of bubbles, a lot of invis grenades, and there's a better way to get it done. And this is the way I'm going to tell you guys how to do it. This is the final and what we decided the best way that I've discovered so far. What you're supposed to do here is each side needs to throw it on their own terms. Pretty much think of it as a 1, 2, 3 count. Now I was on the left side, as you can see here. As soon as my partner would grab it, we would hide behind this box right here so the ads wouldn't shoot us immediately, and then we would both throw it. By the time we threw our 2, the other sides would already be throwing them as well, or at least in position to throw them. When we tried it with all 6, throwing it on the count of 3, someone would be too low of health to grab it and would end up dying, or all the balls would despawn. It was totally a mess. So we decided that we do each side and throw it on your own terms on each side. So once I pick it up, I wait for my partner to grab it. Once we both have it, we throw it. It doesn't matter what everyone else does. Just worry about your own side. We switched it up to that method and it ended up working perfectly. So coordinate with your partner, and as soon as both of you have the Siva charge in your hand, throw it. Odds are that the others are already throwing it or are about to throw it. The thing is, you need to make sure you call it out. So I was on the left side, for instance. If both of you have it, say throwing left or throwing middle. That signals to the other sides that they need to be ready to throw it ASAP. Also, try to keep the chatter down to a minimum because coordination here is absolutely critical. Now once you down his shields, guys, it's just like normal mode. Adds will despawn, just do as much damage as you can with what you have. Now in my group, we always go left first and then right second. We go to the first cleansing room active on the left. The guy on the left will call it out which room it is, and then they need to be aiming at the activator switch ready to shoot it. Having the last person that makes it in, make sure you call out that you're the last person. That way the guy aiming can know to shoot it to close the room off. Now if it's blinking red, shoot it ASAP even if your teammates aren't in yet. Shooting it at the first side of red means that death is pretty much imminent. But as long as you close the room at the first blink of red, you will be fine. So after that happens, reset and do it again. Nothing else changes. The TVs around the room don't do anything. It's simply half closed doors and 6 charges that need to be thrown. Alright, now here are some tips on how to do this a little easier. The biggest help for me was using a bubble with Blessings of Light and Saint 14. On the left or right side, put it right behind these boxes right here, but kind of left of center, enough so that Vosik can't shoot the bubble and destroy it, but far enough that ads can walk through it and be blinded by it and can be killed easily. Also, to the right of this box right here is where you're going to be throwing. This little space right here is a pretty safe place to throw. Ads walk into the bubble and are blinded, so you're safe. The right is pretty much a mirror image of left, so use the bubble the same way. Stay in it so that ads walk up to you and become blinded, and keep blessings on as long as possible. There are also a lot more ads this time around, and they are harder to kill. I wouldn't recommend anything lower than 380 light for this raid. You can be lower and then hope for some drops, but you're going to be pushing the limits and everything will have that reddish-orange number next to the enemy's name indicating that they are way above you. If you don't have a bubble, use invis on each other and do it that way. Also, a tether works very well. The thing to remember here is that you cannot revive in hard mode, and Vosik's health hasn't increased all that much. You don't need weapons or light or a tether to kill this guy. Use your tether, bubble, Nova Bomb, all that on staying alive and clearing ads to throw the charges safely. That is the most important part of this boss. When all 6 people throw, that leaves ads unchallenged, and they're just going to walk up and destroy you pretty quickly. You get overwhelmed very easily in this area. So the idea is that once your side has both of them picked up, throw them fast and then get back to defending yourself as soon as possible. Because if you didn't trick them with an invis grenade or slow them down with a tether or blind them with a bubble, then you're probably not going to survive long enough to throw the charge. Now after you throw and you're shooting all the enemies, a TV is going to go off, just like in easy mode. In hard mode though, only the 3 big TVs go off. There's going to be one to the middle, one to the right, and one to the left. They are very easy to hit, however they take way more damage in order to break them. The best thing to do is have one person on each side shoot the leftover enemies and the other taking down the TV. Sleeper Simulant works absolutely great here, not only on Vosik, but the TVs as well. So if you're the guy with the sword taking down the captains, it makes sense for you to be the guy shooting ads and your partner taking down the TV with the sleeper. Again, talk with your partner, whoever is on your side, make sure you guys know what to do at each step along the way. The last thing to note is that one person on each side will need a sword to kill the captains. Now depending on your light level, they will take 2 to 3 power swings before they go down. They're pretty strong this time around. So if you're right at 380, it's going to take 3 full swings. And that's about the only difference, guys. I mean, this raid is all about coordination and movement. This part of the raid is all that in a tight package. The middle is definitely the easiest, so have your lowest light go in the middle. But you get shot at more by Vosik, although you do have more cover. The sides are the worst. They get blasted by middle ads, but Vosik doesn't shoot you as much, so there is a trade-off. Alright guys, so just a quick review. Kill as many ads as possible before throwing. Don't wait for all 6 Siva charges to be picked up. Throw them when you and your partner on your particular side has them. Call out when your side throws so that the other areas know they need to be throwing soon. Siva charges despawn in half the amount of time you had in normal mode, so don't hold on to them waiting for the others to throw. If your partner can't get to it in time, throw it anyway. A little damage is better than doing no damage at all. For captains, use a sword. Try to have a titan on each side, middle, right, and left. Place them so that you can blind your enemies on left and right, and also place it so Vosik can't shoot it. Keep refreshing your blessings as much as possible. If you don't have a bubble, use invis grenades to grab the charges and try to be in place, ready to throw it before invis wears off. Also, using a tether before picking up the charges guarantees a safe place to pick up and throw. Alternate supers between you and your partner so that you have one for every round if possible. Don't use supers on the boss unless you have plenty to spare. His health hasn't really changed all that much, so you can kill him in 3 rounds. And that's without using any damage increase. Until a different strat becomes available, use your supers to stay alive and also to create a safe place to throw the Siva charges. Bubbles and tethers are just amazing at this part. After your damage, remember to slide into the room, shoot the switch as soon as it blinks red, and that's about it, guys. Not a lot of changes, but what does change creates a domino effect down the line. Just 1 extra orb on each side makes it so that your hands are tied and you can't shoot the ads. Then, because of all the madness created from all the enemies roaming everywhere, it's hard to coordinate throwing because everyone is getting shot at differently and they need to adjust. Then when the TVs go up, people are still clearing ads, so sometimes it gets in your way. Just 1 small adjustment can make a huge difference, as you can see. But stick with it, guys. Even the best teams wipe 3 to 4 times before they get into the swing of things. And if someone dies within the first damage phase, just get ammo, try to get your supers back up, and then wipe. You're going to need that extra person on each side. If it's early, it's just better to restart. Also remember, it's better to stay alive and do no damage at all and make it to the next round than to die and screw over the team for the rest of the rounds. If you are extremely hurt and you know that grabbing the next Siva charge will kill you, talk to your teammate and tell him to throw it without you. Maybe he can throw both, but don't kill yourself trying to do it. However, that's a one and done thing. You don't get to do that every time. It's an extreme scenario. So if you're dying every round, you need to switch something up. This and the Siege Machine are easily the hardest part of the hard raid. It's downhill from there. So keep the chatter to a minimum, coordinate with your teammate, and after you iron out all the details, you will pull through it. Alright, good luck everyone, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm making the rest of my guides as we speak, and hopefully they give you the needed information to get past the hard mode obstacles. As always, you can find me on Twitter at SlyNation for all the important updates about new videos, when I go streaming, or anything else gaming related. Always a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you all very soon. But until then, this is your boy Sly. Laters.